Hello everybody, welcome back to some more Godzilla and welcome to a very special review. This is the Neca Godzilla 1962 from King Kong vs. Godzilla, which came out in 1962. It was the third Godzilla movie and I believe the second King Kong movie to ever be released, and this was the first of the sort of new box art. So it's got the window packaging. On the front we have like the protagonists and stuff. Now, fact: King Kong vs. Godzilla. Oh wait, isn't my favourite Godzilla movie. In fact, it kind of bores me. But that's okay. Anyway, we do have King Kong vs. Godzilla here. That's, I believe, it's King Kong Godzilla. And you got like, I think, Godzilla will you win? Something. Pretty sure. It's like Godzilla will you win, King Kong will you win, I don't know. King Kong. Godzilla. I believe that's his tie, which means versus. On the back, got Godzilla will you win, which is pretty much that. Battle of the Century. Featuring Heat Ray Blast. There's Thingy. But 65 years of Godzilla, going 66 now. Now in 2020. Missed opportunity not releasing Godzilla vs. Kong on the 3rd. It comes out on the 19th. Anyway, let's get this guy out of the packaging. Also, first, now it's not meant to be falling out like that. I actually repackaged the figure just for the sake of a review. But that is meant, this thing, the atomic breath piece is meant to be like up here, you can just see the gap. Godzilla is pretty much where he needs to be. On this side we have a diorama here with like promotional pictures for 62, and he's doing white man power. Someone is going to get mad at that. Anyway, we have this nice window packaging which I love. If I had my V2 box with me, I'd compare them. But anyway, let's get this guy out. Now, when you get your Godzilla out, he is in 3 pieces. Now, when you get this guy out, this ball joint here is actually in this bit. So when you get this guy, what you do, you put this in hot water and you apply it and you plug the tail in. Of course, we're going to plug the tail in. Now I have just got this guy, so there are still many points of him that are very, very stiff. Leaving him in hot water for a bit should get rid of that. But overall, there's your completed Neca 62. And this guy looks gorgeous. There are a couple of issues with this design, but I've literally like, you know, it's not completely chunky, especially like the torso. It's like too slim, especially, you know, it's like top's like kind of anorexic, and his arms are thick, along with his huge thighs, borderline shin. Also, this is the biggest, I think now second biggest Neca Godzilla to date. Barring that, like in the 6-inch scale, of course. Like, this guy is really big. That's what she said. But seriously, like, it's a big figure. For big boy collectors. Actually, it's 14 and up. So anyone under 14, no. Anyway, this guy looks great. He looks very sort of accurate to the 62 suit, and compared to the Monsteroids, like, looking at this guy, this is better than the Monsteroids, and in some ways the Monsteroids is better, but I actually prefer this guy over, especially with the sort of like head sculpt, because the Monsteroids, I believe, use the puppet angles, and the Neca use the actual suit angles, especially during like the final fights, where, you know, he looks actually fairly good from the front, just very bog-eyed and just staring off into darkness, reconsidering his life choices, his regrets. Anyway, let's get into paint, shall we? Now, also sculpt. Another sort of thing that I'm a bit not too happy about is this dorsal spine is much larger than this one. So this needs to be sized down a little bit. This needs to probably be a bit bigger. And this definitely needs to be brought down quite a bit. And then it'll be fairly suit accurate in the back. It is sort of like this bone white colour throughout. It's a little lighter on camera, but yeah, it does sort of retain this bone white throughout the figure. Doesn't ever really lose it until you get to the head. I haven't even looked at it from this angle yet. But I say this is where the shoulder dorsal spine starting getting a little more puffy, rather than sort of like not puffy, I guess. I just discovered that. Anyway, he's also got the 3 toes. I actually thought he had 4, so I was like, is this accurate? I still need to actually rewatch the film, but because it actually puts me to sleep, you know, it's kind of hard to. I'm also having bad back doing this because I'm like really low down and this is real high up, so, you know, those are the downsides. Anyway, the figure is painted in this like olive green sort of colour, which I'm just trying to think is sort of accurate. I think from like lighting, it does look kind of like this. It looks a bit darker actually on camera, and you know that you got the actual like skin, which is very, you know, post Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings, which I believe it retains for the end of the show. I think it loses it in the high side, gets it back in the Millennium, loses it again in the Millennium, and then loses it for the Legendary Godzilla, and then retains it back for Shin, and then loses it for the Planet Eater. For Earth Godzilla. Anyway, the eyes are sort of like yellow around and then pupil dot. The jaw is very nicely sculpted and sort of pink, and he's got lipstick. I just noticed that. Don't bother me. His atomic breath is sort of like a green, I think, or brown, with white dry brushing. I think that's accurate because no, it was slightly blue at this point. And to get this thing in, you've got this, so it's like a little, there's not even like a hole for it. And if you look at the back, you can see a hole there. Line it up properly. You don't want to put it in like this, otherwise you will damage the figure. Do it like this, and carefully plug the piece in, and you should feel it because it stays securely. It does sort of like weigh the head down, but that's okay. And if you want, if you have, because I have it, if you have the Neca V2, I've not tried this yet, you can do so. That actually looks really cool. That really does look cool. I've got to try it with V2. Like the other piece. Anyway, let's get into articulation. So, head articulates full 360. Jaw opens and closes. Neck piece rotates 360. Now mine, for some reason, is a bit too soft, so that might be on everyone else's. If that's the case, try and freeze that part of the neck. It should, or like toughen it up, cool it down maybe. I don't know. Now, this is like the joints on this figure are very, very stiff. Like, it was like a pain when first moving these arms to actually like move them at all. But they move out and they rotate 360, and then go in about this way. And the elbow joint goes far out about that. Far in about that. And does rotate. You've also got rotation here and bend. Also bend at the knuckles. It's the same with the other arm, except if you do that, get it right. You got the white man. I might. Oh, right, it says plastic. I don't know if you get it right. Like, you can do the white man power thing. So it's just a bit, you know. The thighs are on like a barbell joint, which is two ball joints in one. Which, if you work together, but because of the stiffness of the joints, are a pain. But you can rotate the body 360. It's actually kind of restricted about there. And there you can sort of slightly see where the ball joint is. Then you have knee articulation. Big. Like, knee stays forward about that far, and there's a big bend at the knee. Barely an ankle pivot, and foot moves up and down, and rotates. And then we come to the tail. Now this is the first of the articulated tails. Oh, my arm's tight. You can spin these around, and there are also on ball joints, so there's no real restrictions. And this makes very organic pauses when it comes to these. And I can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments here at the tail, compared to the 10 that's on like the Neca V2. Now, for size comparison, here we have 62 next to Kong. The Mezcal Kong. I believe Godzilla is a bit taller by like a hair. The previously biggest 6-inch Neca figure, the 1954. My previous favourite Neca Godzilla, the 2019. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention he has waist articulation